afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Inter & Co Stadium, the FC Series in 2025, and our first look at Orlando City this calendar year as the Lions take on Atlético Mineiro, one of the most successful clubs in Brazilian history, and Copa Libertadores runners-up in 2024. I'm Evan Weston alongside Scott Sutter. Buddy, it is good to be back. It is good to be home in our stadium, and very, very excited to see what's a really interesting first preseason 11 for these Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really excited to be back. The sun is shining. We've missed that the last few days here in Orlando. Good to have the boys back out there in purple, and yeah, a couple of it's an interesting lineup. A couple of young players thrown in there with some experienced players. This is going to be a good test tonight.
Yeah, nice mix. Yutaro Scata, the first-round draft pick from last year, is in the lineup. Highly touted homegrown right back Alex Freeman, and most interestingly, 16-year-old Gustavo Caraballo gets a start in Facundo Torres' vacated right wing position. Luis Muriel standing on the ball now as the number 9 as we await the signal from the referee to get this thing going. Atlético Mineiro playing their second friendly of this FC series. They played their arch rivals Cruzeiro last week, fought them to a 0-0 draw. The Atletico reserves have been playing against Orlando's youngsters this week, and now the full teams get their run out this afternoon in front of a great crowd here at Inter & Co Stadium. Great mix of Atletico fans and Orlando fans in the building. As we get underway, Lions in purple and Mineiro in their black and white. Right away, youngster Caraballo on the ball, the youngest player ever signed to a professional contract by Orlando City. He got his OCB deal in August 2023, just a few weeks shy of his 15th birthday. Now at 16 years old, had a terrific year for the U17s, and Oscar Pareja has become very invested in his development. One to watch for today, number 65 on the right. As Orlando City starts to answer the question of how they'll replace Facundo Torres. Not that Caraballo is in that mix just yet, but certainly a great opportunity for him to get a chance here today.
Yeah, it's a really big moment for him. You know, first game with the big boys, and he'll want to get some touches early on just to settle those nerves. He'll be feeling that for sure. So it's good to see him on the ball in the first few seconds.
Atlético Mineiro, the player to look out for there is Hulk. The best named players. Usually there's a long story as to why Brazilian players have the nicknames they do, relating to a family member or somebody mispronouncing something as a kid. With Hulk, it's pretty obvious why he is called that. And at 38 years old, he just ages like a fine wine. 19 goals, 13 assists for Hulk last year. Hometown star leads the line for Atlético Mineiro. The guys to watch there, number 10, Argentine Gustavo Scarpa, coming off a terrific season, playing in the pocket behind Hulk for Mineiro today. Looking for Hulk through the middle here, but it's broken up by Wilder Cartagena, and Orlando City back on the ball. The first time, but certainly not the last time, that I will utter the words broken up by Wilder Cartagena in 2025. Brecalo a little offline for Araujo. Here comes Hulk through the middle, and Brecalo makes up for it while winning the ball right back. Scott, this is a big year for David Brecalo, coming off of last year where he was away with the national team and had a couple of injuries, just never really got that full rhythm that you'd expect.
Yeah, you know, this is a big preseason for him, just to kind of ramp up that fitness and kind of stay with it so that he can enter the season as healthy as possible. I mean, we all know how good a player he is. And it's also, you know, Chilego's been pushing him as well, so he needs to be on his toes.
Araujo switching the point of attack to Rafa Santos on the left-hand side. Santos serves one into the box. Muriel gets a header on, but Everson on the line to make the comfortable save. Well, the big question with Luis Muriel at the number 9, will he get into the box? Will he make those runs? Right there, the answer was yes. Had his head on the ball, just didn't get enough pace on it.
And Santos doesn't need a second invitation to cross from deep, and it was a really good, well-served ball, and just lacked a little bit of pace from Muriel there, but yeah, good early sign from him getting on the end of something.
Duncan Maguire expected to be out into the spring. So the lone center forwards on the depth chart right now for Orlando City, Ramiro Enrique, who started most of the second half of last year, and Muriel, who played more as a second forward number 10 in the second half of last season. Hulk lays it off. Below jockeying with Bernard. Now to Guilherme Arana, the top-tier left back, one of the best in Brazil. Another matchup to watch out for. Arana down the left-hand side against the very young Alex Freeman and Gustavo Caraballo on that right wing. Here's Arana. Goes wide to Bernard, the veteran, former Everton player. Back into Fausto Vera. Now Atlético settling into possession. Similar game models for these two teams. Cuca likes to have his team set up in a 4-2-3-1. Veteran manager now in his 4th stint in charge of Atlético Mineiro. He's actually the most successful manager in the club's history, despite the fact that they fired him 3 times. Things are quite different in terms of how quickly managers are hired and fired in Brazil as opposed to in other parts of the world, but especially where MLS, where managers tend to get a lot of time to implement a vision. Usually guys don't get sacked in their first year or even into their second, whereas in Brazil the average lifespan of a manager is about 5 months. Here's Bernard working against Freeman. Bernard's cross is cut out by the youngster. Well, no one questions Alex Freeman going forward. The big moment for him is going to be whether or not he can work up defensively, and right there made a very nice play on a veteran proven winger in Bernard.
Yeah, it was a good first test for Freeman there. Great time challenge there. Did really well to come away cleanly with the ball.
Ojeda floats one out wide to him. Freeman was dominant at MLS Next Pro last year. 7 goals, 10 assists from right back in about 30 games. Got on a tear in the second half of the year, led OCB from below the line into the postseason. Trying to break into the first team, although that's a crowded position here at Orlando City with Dagerdan Thorhaldsen, whom we will likely see later today, locked into the starting role. Here's Araujo. Rolled into midfield. Cartagena puts a little bit too much mustard on it. It takes a nice bounce there, and Freeman's going to get there. Extraordinarily pacey, Alex Freeman. Cartagena whips it in. Closing on was Scott, but it's out for a goal kick. Renzo Sarabia, the right back, doing enough to shepherd it out of play. Oscar Pareja has said it. He said it in his first media availability of the preseason. He believes in his game model. It has taken this team to the playoffs 5 seasons in a row. Eastern Conference final appearance last season, Scott. Just got to tighten up and make that one next step in order to reach the promised land of MLS Cup. He was so close a season ago. There's a foul by Hulk. Not sure I'd want to get run over by that guy, but Alex Freeman's a big, strong lad.
Yeah.
Took it like a champ.
There you see why he is called Hulk, coming in nice and strong from the back end there, and yeah, but Freeman dealt with him.
Now a free kick for one of the best set-piece takers in MLS, Martin Ojeda. And you'll notice he's wearing a new number. Has taken over the number 10 from Facu Torres, who's been sold to Palmeiras in Brazil. Curling ball, flicked along but right at Everson by David Brecalo. Right, I think that was Schlegel who got his head on that. Really nice delivery, though, again by Ojeda. And almost always count on something dangerous coming off of that left foot. You put on that 10 shirt, Scott. That's a lot of responsibility. We saw Facu Torres step up to the plate last year. Ojeda hoping this season to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a highly coveted number in the world of soccer, and it takes a certain player to be able to wear that and carry that responsibility. And I think off the back of last season, Ojeda is deserving of that number, and I don't feel that it will affect him and his performances too much.
7 goals, 13 assists in all competitions for Tincho. He was 94th percentile in expected assists amongst MLS and similar level leagues. One of the best chance creators at this level that we have. It's Muriel. Cartagena. Atlético Mineiro looking like they're jamming up the middle here, Scott.
Yeah, very similar ways that they want to play. I mean, we see early on how Mineiro want to play a possession-based soccer, similar to what we see with Orlando City. So it's kind of a bit of a tug-of-war match at the moment.
Ojeda looking to combine with Muriel. The layoff bounces out to Rafa Santos, who wasn't quite ready for it. Nicks him in the thigh and goes out for a throw-in. Mineiro coming off a year of almosts. They won the state league, the Campeonato Mineiro, which is typically you don't see the first teamers until late in that tournament. Imagine if there was a Southeast League in the U.S. early on in the season before the regular season started. That's basically what that is. If maybe Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, and then the USL teams in the region played in it. That's kind of what we're talking about there. They've won that 5 years in a row. But then they finished 12th in the Brasileirão while they were focused on other competitions. They made the final of both the Brazilian Cup and the Copa Libertadores, which is the South American version of the Champions League. Lost in both finals. And that evidently is enough to get a coach fired. But make no mistake, this is a very, very good team. They've made a big signing as well, bringing in Gabriel Menino from Palmeiras. He's in the starting lineup today. There's some other rumored names out there that might be coming. There's Junior Alonso. Arana. Bernard. Very similar patterns of play, even, Scott, that these two teams have.
Yeah, it seems that way. You know, the fullbacks getting nice and high, and the wingers choosing their moments to drop inside or come inside. Yeah, very similar.
Hulk trapping to get on the ball. Wilder Cartagena all over him. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Hulk against that box of four that Orlando have in front of the keeper. This will be a corner for Mineiro off of Caraballo.
A good tracking back by the youngster there, Freeman, out to help as well. They do want to push up their fullbacks. Mineiro here, and we saw that with Arana. Doesn't need asking twice to get up there in field and try and get crosses in.
Bernard will take the corner for Mineiro. It's a short one. Arana. Push it up high, served in by Scarpa, headed away off the line, right back in, and the shot blocked by a diving Schlegel. Beautiful work there by Rodri. In his sixth season with Orlando City, and for the very first time in any game, friendly or otherwise, wearing the captain's armband for Orlando today. Robin Janssen is sitting this one out for load management. So Schlegel gets in there. Here's a shot from distance that is way high and wide from Scarpa, the Argentine playmaker.
It's nice to see Schlegel wearing the armband and getting the confidence from Pareja. I mean, for any of you that saw his speech before one of the games last season, at the end of last season, I mean, you get goosebumps just thinking about it. So he's definitely a leader, whether he starts, whether he's on the bench. I think he more than warrants that role as a vice captain.
Schlegel rolling it to Caraballo. Here's some pressure from Mineiro, and the 16-year-old does well with it. Rolling it across to Rafa Santos. Now Orlando's turn to get into the attack. Evenly matched opening 12 minutes. We recall last season Orlando faced Flamengo, probably the biggest club in Brazil, in their first preseason friendly at this event. Drew them 1-1, which led to a panic among Flamengo fans, but Orlando City knew that they were perfectly capable of getting a result against the team that was at the time the reigning Copa Libertadores champions. Now they face the runners-up. Brecalo moving into the attack. We'll leave it for Alex Freeman. Brecalo also an option at fullback now. He's been playing right back with the Slovenian national team. He saw some time at both fullback spots in the playoffs off the bench last year for Orlando when they were seeing out results. There's a lot of versatility in this roster, something that Luis Muzzi and the front office pride themselves on recruiting. good to hear those drums again. Everybody back in the building, finally breaking that horrible cold we've had here. I feel bad for the Brazilian teams who are visiting us. You figured we'd be able to give them better weather, but not so over the past week and a half. But finally today, the sun peeking out. Here comes Freeman. Checking inside, Alex Freeman. This is what he does so well. Lays it off for Rafa Santos. Rafa with a cross, looking back post. Too far out of range for Caraballo. Keeps it in play. Now Caraballo looking to take on Bernard, and the veteran picks his pocket. Well, Bernard was 16 when Caraballo was born. Caraballo is 16 now. After he's learned some lessons over the years. It's a goal kick here for Everson. What an opportunity for this young man, though, just to get a chance to play against one of the best teams in the Western Hemisphere.
That's always exciting when a young player gets the opportunity. It inspires others as well that are in the academy that are, played with him probably as recent as a couple of months ago, and seeing him on this stage. And it's still early, but it gives the other players hope as well. So it's good for the club as a whole to kind of show that and represent that in such a young, talented player.
Scarpa, Sarabia. Mineiro will knock it back. Scarpa coming from wide on that left foot. Arana. Underneath Vera. Scarpa very much the Martino Heda for Mineiro, given a kind of a free roll, move around, make things happen. Now Junior Alonso. Scarpa rolls it ahead to Sarabia. Orlando's rest defense, so good, especially in the second half of last season. So difficult to break this team down. It's the foundation of everything they do. Scott, what makes them so effective against the ball?
I mean, I think the kind of the spine of the team with Cartagena and Araujo obviously drive that compactness. Also led by the centre backs. I think Rodrigo Schlegel is very vocal. Janssen exactly the same. So kind of having that core of the team, filters through everyone else. And a great, obviously, job to the coaching staff for implementing that and getting the players to buy in.
Here come Orlando. Lautaro Scata, the talented dribbler, on the left. Scata inside, takes a crack. It's deflected out for corner.
A great run by Takada there, seeing what he's capable of, what he's done over and over again in the second team. It's nice to see him get a bit of a longer run out. And that was, after 17 minutes, he had to wait that long to get his first true action. Mineiro obviously being really good in possession and moving the ball around. So good bright spot there by Takada.
Scata, the first-round pick out of West Virginia last year. Had a terrific season at OCB. And a few cameos with the first team as well. Ojeda from the corner. Glancing header away by Mineiro. Come out to Caraballo. Sticks one in. Options, and Cartagena heads wide. And Freeman in there, in fact, because the one who got his head on it.
Yeah, it would have been nice, huh? One youngster to the next, and yeah, great ball in by Caraballo there, and Freeman timed it well, just caught it slightly off center, and it went past that far post.
Freeman is a freak athlete, 6'2", 185 pounds. He is the son of a former NFL wide receiver, Antonio Freeman, who Played many years, won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. There's a foul by Fausto Vera on Cesar Araujo. Classic Cesar there, win the ball back for his team. Caraballo dispossessed. Here's Hulk. And Cartagena clipping Hulk as he tried to accelerate. Hulk and Luis Muriel, very similar styles. Bigger guys who use their strength and have surprising technical ability for guys of their stature. Hulk is just a cut above in terms of that physical strength. Over 400 goals in his club career, nearly 50 caps for the Brazilian national team. He's played all over the world. Portugal, China, Japan. Looked like he was wrapping up his career when he signed for Atlético 4 years ago at age 34, coming home, and instead led them to a domestic treble in their first Brasileirão since 1971. And so they keep extending his contract, and he keeps making 30-plus goal involvements a year, and everybody seems to be pretty happy about that. It's Lianco coming up from center back. And Cartagena is down. Lianco might have got him up high. After he released the ball, he wheeled her a little bit shaken up.
Just caught a stray forearm there. Whether that was intentional or remains to be seen, but Schlegel does seem to think so. He was quick to defend his teammate.
Wearing that armband today, a little more responsibility with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We kind of got him in the chest, it looks like. Lashed out with that arm a little bit. I think Wheeler's got a real complaint there. Orlando will have a free kick. "20 minutes in, what do you make of it?"
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of back and forth. I mean, we would like to get the attacking players from Orlando City more involved. Again, Takada had one run. Muriel just lost the ball there. Hasn't had many touches. Young Caraballo's had a couple of moments, but few and far between, really. It's been largely a game of in the middle of the park, so they've kind of been trading blows and defending really well on both sides of the ball, making it difficult for them to get through.
Hulk drawing a foul on Schlegel. That'll set up a free kick for Atlético Mineiro.
Do you think Hulk will shoot from here?
Oh, I hope so. Well, it looks like he's going to defer. I'd certainly want him in the box on a play like this.
Maybe when he was 37, he might take that one. Maybe he's losing a bit of muscle mass in that left quad.
It doesn't look it.
No, it does not.
Quadzilla right there. Gustavo Scarpa looks likely to take this. Yes, it will be Scarpa. Lays it on the ground towards Bernard, and a foul on Schlegel. He knew he was in trouble, was waving no, but the referee disagrees. And now I think we might be in a spot where Hulk could take one on. Schlegel going to get a talking to from the referee.
Yeah, this is prime position for a direct free kick. I mean, Mineiro tried to do something, fashion a bit of a set-piece variation there with one running over the ball, setting it at the top of the box, and Rodri just caught it slightly late there. And now we are at the top of the D, and I feel sorry for whoever's in the wall if Hulk does step up for it.
I'm sure they're ready for it.
Someone might be lying down behind it as well. Don't want to be them either. They can at least turn their back though, so.
There he is, Hulk, standing over the ball. The ageless wonder.
And Caraballo's drawn the straw of lying down behind the wall.
At 16, I think
you got, yeah.
Although, funny enough, that was usually Facu Torres last season who would be in that hole. Caraballo has drawn the short straw, as you said. Some Atlético players in there as well to screen. This is all the big Brazilian Hulk. put Mineiro in the lead. Hulk strikes it into the wall. Rebound comes out to Arana, and he's the one who sends it deep into the seats. Goal kick. Not the best effort of his 20-plus year career.
Yeah, he didn't hold back. He went for power. Ended up hitting Muriel on the back of his calves as he turned away. He kind of feared that Hulk wasn't going to hold back on that one, and he just didn't catch it as clean as he would have hoped to.
Scotta blasting it forward, looking for Muriel. Muriel is going to get on the ball here, slide it forward. Muriel was clearly fouled. The official lets it go. Orlando, though, does end up with the ball back. How do you not blow the whistle there? Muriel was hauled down by Leonco.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play advantage, but then when it didn't go through, certainly it was going to be a foul.
Good ball by Scotta, releases Ojeda. This is his favorite spot. The cross is a bit high. Freeman trying to center it, draws a corner.
Tincho making that trademark underlapping run that we saw so many times last year. That will again be a threat. Will again be a threat for going forward this season. He loves to make those runs, and the boys in purple seem obliged to feed him those balls, and they cause problems.
There is no shot that leads to higher percentage chances, or no pass, I should say, than a cutback. Martin Ojeda specializes in those. Here he comes from the corner. Line drive in, nodded away. Papa Santos. Clipping it towards Ojeda. Flag stays down. Tincho lays it off to Freeman. Orlando will keep it. Scotta will roll it back into Araujo as the Lions reset. Wilder. Scotta looking to combine with Muriel. Nothing on. The Colombian rolls it back. Orlando in a good moment here. Santos. Lobs it over the top. Here's Ojeda. Ojeda slides it back in for Scotta, but it's turned away. Brecalo cutting it off. Orlando right back to it. Santos down the left. Santos line drive in. Ojeda now, and it's over the bar by Caraballo, who had a brilliant opportunity to score what would have been a headline-grabbing goal.
Yeah, it was unlucky. I mean, the ball got whipped in by Ojeda. I don't think Caraballo knew too much about it. He knew it was coming. He was positioned really well, but it was played at some pace by Ojeda.
How brilliant is that from Ojeda, by the way? That ball's going out for a corner. 99 players out of 100 let that roll. He jumps on it and creates the game's best chance.
And it's not an easy one as well. I mean, the ball was bouncing, so he had to catch that. You catch that ball on the half volley an inch too low, and that is being ballooned up in the air. I mean, he caught it perfectly, but just a little bit too much pace for the youngsters to deal with.
Would it be fair to say that Ojeda is still underrated by sort of the MLS universe? I can't think of very many better chance creators who are more daring, more technically creative than he is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you look at his stats. Stats don't lie. He's up there with the best of them, and I think what works against him is that he's not as flashy, in the sense of a better word, like than other players.
He's not dribbling people.
He's not dribbling. Yeah, he's not making those weekly highlights or that other players do. He's more pragmatic as a player, and he plays those final passes, or the second from last pass, secondary assists as you call them, and his delivery as well. I mean, a lot of it is his final ball that we're about to see right now.
Ojeda. In it goes. No one in the vicinity, though, for Orlando. Comes back to Cartagena and Araujo on the right-hand side. Cesar's ball in is deflected. Now Mineiro will look to counter. Scarpa. Good job by Orlando to prevent that immediately. It goes all the way back to Everson. There's a Lion down. It's Wilder having a little trouble. I think he got caught on the back end of that.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling it. I mean, it looks that it's the heel. It could be hopefully not his Achilles, the way he is hobbling and doesn't really know where it's hurting. That's not really a good sign, but hopefully he just got knocked. I didn't actually see it when it happened.
No, me neither. It looks like he's going to try and press on here. Hard to think of a player who's more important to what Orlando City want to do than Wilder Cartagena. He kind of holds the whole thing together, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and we really saw it last year when he was suspended and missed games. I mean, there's just that heartbeat of the team that's missing. And I thought also that we saw a different level of maturity last year with Cartagena. He seemed, while still feisty and aggressive, also disciplined in it as well. So hopefully he continues that. Hopefully this whatever this is just a minor knock.
Talk about underrated. Hard pressed to think of very many number 6s I'd rather have than Wilder Cartagena. Sarabia down the right. Junior Alonso flicking it over the top towards Hulk, but knocked away by Orlando. Here's Scotta. It's been a handful here in this first half. Scotta rolling it through to Muriel. Muriel closed down. Has to flick it back, but didn't have much help. Now for Atlético Mineiro. Alan Franco. Menino. Scarpa. Bernard. Scarpa turning. Hulk has gone out to the left wing here. Here he goes. On the ball against the 16-year-old Caraballo. Hulk could have bought a drink in the States when Caraballo was born. One of my favorite things about this sport, which is, really, no, I mean, you get such a wide variety of experience and age level. If you're old enough, you know, if you're good enough, you're old enough, I guess is the saying. Though, if you're 16 or if you're 38. Yeah,
there was that's interesting as well, and it reminds me of a cup game that was played in England a few weeks back, where Everton played a lower league team in the League Cup, and Ashley Young, I think he's around 38, 39 years old, had the opportunity to play against his son in the opposing team. Now the son was on the bench, and they didn't actually give him a minute to play in the game, unfortunately. But yeah, that would have been a similar kind of LeBron situation, just as opposing players.
Orlando City forced into an early change here with Cartagena unable to continue. Kyle Smith will replace Wilder at the 6. Orlando City quite thin in that position at the moment. Felipe and Gio Kucheski both moving on at the end of last season. Some incomings, perhaps, but at the moment, Kyle Smith is likely the third option in that position. Here comes Scarpa down the right. Vera tries to go, and it's off the back of Araujo. Caraballo will hoof it clear. Leonco. Vera. Left winger Bernard dropping into the pocket. Now Arana. Terrific offensive left back. This one not his best. Scata and Santos there to deal with it for Orlando. Utaro looking to go up the line towards Ojeda, and it's broken up. Alan Franco gets there first for Atletico Mineiro.
It doesn't really seem that Orlando City have an outlet when they win the ball in their own half. They need to kind of move forward, up, and then have possession. That's where they've been most dangerous, as opposed to winning the ball and trying to break on the counter-attack. It seems that Mineiro do a good job of swallowing them up.
Scarpa. Franco. Vera. Vera trying from distance again. Galese forced into a good save. Fausto Vera scored just 2 goals in 27 games last year, having to go from deep and hit it pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He was just on the left-hand side and kind of cut in centrally, and Galese making a good save, but one that he should make. But you know, when you don't have to do anything for almost 35 minutes, it's difficult. And even more so when you're looking into the sun, as I see him squinting.
Scata keeps his feet, slides it forward over the head of Ojeda. Bianco sending it back the other way. Bernard. Mineiro unable to disturb this Orlando City back line. Scarpa. Got the Lions pinned pretty deep here, though. Scata with a block for a throw-in. Over the top, Sarabia. Utaro touched that out for a corner. Atletico Mineiro will try to go ahead from a set play. Veteran team. 6 of the 11 players in the starting lineup are 31 or older. The youngest player out there is Gabriel Menino and Fausto Vera, both at 24. Scarpa, 31-year-old playmaker, on to take the corner kick. Referee having words for Hulk and Alex Freeman in there. Scarpa dips it in, but Brecalo there to head away with confidence. Has been a good 5-minute passage, though, for the Brazilian side in terms of controlling the ball. They've yet to really create too much with it. Sarabia. Scarpa. Just nothing there. Orlando's closing off everything they're trying to do. And there's Scata with another interception. Taro Scata, knock it back to Schlegel, and now Orlando, at long last, will take possession. Araujo cuts it inside, nicely done on Franco. Ojeda. Scata coming off the left. Keeps it on the ground. Santos the cross. Away by Junior Alonso. Alpha trying to let it go out, but Mineiro end up with it. Bianco's ball out, covered nicely by Kyle Smith. What can Orlando do to break down Atletico Mineiro here?
Yeah, I mean, they need to keep moving the ball. They're doing a good job. They haven't been in these, especially over the last 10-15 minutes, been in this position too much. They've been largely pinned back. So this is where Orlando are good, except for this where Freeman just accidentally lost the ball. Commentators curse, but they want to get in this position right where they are in that attacking half and move the ball quickly, because there is opportunities to especially down that left side, less so down the right side with young Carabeo and Freeman, but Tucana and Tincho, obviously, as he always does, causing some problems down that left side.
Bernard and Hulk, Arana, and Bernard never made the run. Puts up in a hand an apology as Galesa gets on the ball for the Lions. Not a whole lot in this first half. Cagey game between these two teams that both have league title ambitions this season. Only concern for Orlando, the injury to Cartagena. 4 weeks out from the season opener. You hope it isn't anything too serious, but again, that is a position of need going into the year for the Lions due to the lack of depth. Should see some other youngsters in that role. A first-round pick, Jerome Gerbet out of Clemson, and 17-year-old homegrown Colin Gusky. Ojeda and Muriel unable to combine. They didn't really play together all that much a season ago. Nice Ramiro Enrique getting ready to make his way on for Orlando City. He's the starting striker for most of the second half last year. Went on a torrid run during the summer. Scored in 6 consecutive games for Orlando. Here's Ojeda. With options, Ojeda to Muriel, little back heel, Ojeda with his right foot. And he just can't find the target. Don't see that very often from Tincho.
Yeah, it started with a lovely diagonal pass by Carl Smith and everything opened up. Ojeda drove in and a nice combination play at the top of the left-hand side of the box with Muriel.
And that'll be it for Muriel as he is replaced by Enrique. Ramiro, coming off a breakout season. 23-year-old from Bursaco, Argentina, 12 goals, 3 assists in all competitions last year. And remember, he really didn't play at all the first half of the season. I think there's a 15-plus goal striker in there as Orlando nearly picked that one off coming right out of the back. That would have been a heck of an introduction for Ramiro into this game. He gives you that element leading the press, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and I think he kind of embodies everything that Oscar Pareja wants his team to be about. You know, high energy, high press, going into space, never giving up. That's kind of the player that he wants, and he's done so well with that in a difficult role, right? Not being a true starter, having to fight his way against Duncan Maguire, but he did phenomenally well.
Hulk dropping deep. Arana just about gets there, but can't get on the ball. Caraballo bit, and he ends up with it. Orlando back in possession. Santos. Captain Rodrigo Schlegel. What a moment of growth for him. How far he has come in his now 5+ years in the U.S. He's matured greatly. He started a family, made a home. Santos, beautiful ball forward. Caraballo coming inside. Here's Enrique going wide, where Enrique with a cross earns a corner off of Lianco.
Yeah, nice play by the Lions. Good turn by Caraballo to face up the opposition and play the slip ball for who's on the left side. Santos that whipped the ball in.
Lianco, you might remember from Southampton, it's a summer signing for Mineiro last year, coming home back to Brazil. It's a nice play. Ojeda from the corner. High arcing ball. Arbayo, but he fouled his marker, and it's a free kick to Mineiro. Final minute plus of this first half. Enrique again leading the press. Everson forced long. Freeman heads to Cesar, and Orlando have it. Just a different element with Ramiro in there to charge at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it definitely takes something away from their game. They love to use their goalkeeper, build out from the back, and having that, you know, that little bit less time to kind of get your feet set and look up just changes that whole thing. We saw that with Everson having to go long there, and Orlando City winning the ball back.
Everson, a legend at Mineiro, over 300 games for the Brazilian team. Oh, Araujo coughs it up to Scarpa. Hulk making a run forward. Hulk, Schlegel gets there, takes him off the ball. How about Rodrigo Schlegel standing his ground against the legendary Hulk? And now Orlando going the other direction. Slipped in by Santos to Ojeda. Tincho forward. Ramiro, Enrique! Save Everson! Scott blocked off the line for a corner! Best look of the day on the break for Orlando after Schlegel stands up Hulk.
Yeah, it started down the other end, and an excellently timed tackle by Schlegel there on Hulk, and the ball properly fell to Santos on the left-hand side. He played a fantastic diagonal ball. They ended up Ojeda slipping in. Enrique one-on-one with the keeper, makes a really good save, Everson, and Takada with the follow-up. Just Mineiro getting enough bodies back there to block it off the line, and really good passage of play there. Great counter-attack.
Ojeda with a corner as we're in 2 minutes of first half stoppage time. Tincho sends one towards the top of the box. Kyle Smith nods it down to Rafa Santos. Ojeda charging back in, tries to get on it, finds Scott. Utaro needs to create some space, flicks it back to Ojeda. Another goal kick. It hit off of Tincho on the way out, and that may wrap up the action here in the first half. Everson trying to go out quickly, get Mineiro something here in the final minute, but he coughs up the ball, Sarabia, and Scott, no foul. Looked like he was taken down with contact. Orlando's still on the ball, 30 seconds left. Ojeda turning, Ojeda shooting, Everson makes the comfortable save. Orlando has come to life in the last few minutes. See if they can take that momentum into the second half. There'll likely be some significant changes to both teams at halftime, but you got to be encouraged with what you've seen here, Scott.
Yeah, it was a solid first half, you know, and although Mineiro had at times a lot of the possession, they defended really well and kept it tight. So on both sides of the ball was good, and they had chances. They had them far superior chances. Slightly less of the ball, perhaps, but good start, good first look.
And we know this team can be very, very effective when they have slightly less of the ball, as we've seen over the years as well. 0-0 at halftime here at the FC Series. Orlando City's first preseason run out at Inter Stadium against Atlético Mineiro. We will step aside, keep this window open in your browser, folks. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to start the second half here on OrlandoCitySC.com. underway here at Inter Stadium. Orlando City and Atlético Mineiro scoreless after 45 minutes. Evan Weston and Scott Sutter with you back at beautiful Inter Stadium for what has been a game that started slow, but Orlando City really picked it up and had the better of the chances in that first half, Scott.
Yeah, they finished the half really, really strongly. Hopefully they can start back on that same foot, take the initiative here. But overall, a very solid first half, if not one of their first games. And you know, it's always feeling it out and getting your legs going again.
3 changes for Atlético Mineiro. Hulk, Bernard, and Fausto Vera. Oh no, pardon, that was incorrect from the graphic. My apologies. Hulk is still in the game. Renzo Saravia, Fausto Vera, and Bernard have come out. Rubens, Nathaniel, and Rahian Palacios have come in. Here's Caraballo, nicking the ball off the feet of Menino, and here comes Orlando City. Caraballo and Enrique 2v3. Ojeda coming up to support. Caraballo sit across to Yutaro Scata. Scata shot just wide of the post. I think he might have had Everson beat had that been on target. He is dangerous from out there. You've been impressed by the second-year player?
Yeah, he's done well, and you know, I've heard admittedly a lot about him, and we saw him in moments last year, but didn't really get as many minutes as probably he would have liked. But yeah, tons of potential, great dribbler by all accounts, and he's shown it today in great moments. So I think that could have snuck in on that near post there.
Scata looking for Enrique, but Ramiro and Yutaro not on the same page. No changes at half for Orlando. It is Santos, Schlegel, Brecalo, Freeman on the back 4. Kyle Smith in for Wilder Cartagena, who went off with an injury around the half-hour mark. Partnering Cesar Araujo. 16-year-old academy product Caraballo on the right. Scata on the left with Ojeda underneath Ramiro Enrique. Half a chance there on the back end for Palacios, but covered up by Galese. And a foul on Hulk.
Yeah, just caught late there. Wasn't happy with it. And it was funny not to see Cartagena sprint over like he usually does to defend his central midfield teammate there.
He's certainly hoping for the best for Wilder. He was helped to the locker room. Brecalo. Oh, nicely done there by Freeman. Slips by Alex Freeman, cuts it back. Cleared away by Mineiro. Cesar will let it go for a throw.
Great move by Freeman there. Opening his legs as well, and you know, he's got some pace in him, like you said there. Just the final delivery wasn't quite up to it, but bright look by Freeman there.
Absolutely flying. He'll play that position differently than Daggerdan. Well, Daggerdan likes to get inside and get on the ball. Freeman is really more of a wing-back style outside back.
It seems that, yeah, definitely. But what I've been impressed with Freeman is his range of movement. You know, he's not resigned to staying wide or on the touchline there. He does like to drift inside sometimes. He likes to go high. He varies his positioning, which is very mature to see that from a younger player.
Orlando coming off an Eastern Conference final appearance, looking to continue their climb. Last 3 years, they've done one round better in the MLS Cup playoffs. First round in 22, conference semis in 23, conference final last year. Is this the year that Orlando City will break through and reach MLS Cup and then, in their minds, hopefully win their first MLS Cup? Nice ball forward by Smith to Scata. Yutaro gets way under it, chips it into the seats.
He's playing with some confidence though, which is great to see. I mean, he had the option of slipping Ojeda in, but opted to go by himself. It was a great first touch after that long ball, and it opened up, so he was within his right to take that, but just lacked a little bit composure. Would have preferred a little bit more placement than power that he opted for, but again, he's playing well.
Bit of a different profile with that position than Ivan Angulo, who started every game at left wing last year. Here comes Palacios down the right. Colombian off the bench here in the second half. Freeman gets there to knock that one away. Mineiro throw. Mineiro really didn't get much of anything in that first half, Scott. They looked a little off the pace going forward.
Just the one shot. I think the Calais saved fairly comfortably, but other than that, yeah, they again a lot of possession, but not a lot of end product.
Junior Alonso working it out of the back with Lianco. Palacios. Atlético Nacional. So over the top, here's Hulk. Way high and wide. Pardon, that was Gabriel Menino popping up in an attacking position, taking that shot. Menino, so far, their big winter signing from Palmeiras, although Galo fans are certainly hoping that there are more incomings, particularly to replace Paulinho, who left for Palmeiras. He and Facundo Torres were unveiled together for Palmeiras as their two major additions in the January transfer window. Paulinho scored 19 goals to tie Hulk for the team high last year. He and Facu will be the new starting wingers for Palmeiras. Brecalo with a great tackle after Enrique had lost the ball. Cleaned up, though, by Lianco for Mineiro. Scarpa. Nathaniel. Hulk and Scarpa combining. Junior Alonso. Caraballo helped to break it up. And Kyle Smith getting the header away. Freeman for Ojeda, trying to act as an outlet. Will earn a throw-in. Orlando's sub starting to warm up with a little bit more intensity. We should see plenty of those, I would think, in the next 15-20 minutes, as this is a preseason game. You can make as many substitutions as you'd like. There is a whole second team prepared and dressed for Orlando today. We've seen Smith and Enrique make their way in. Palacios gets some help from Nathaniel and just about keeps that one away from Yutaro Scata. This is where we were for a lot of the first half. Mineiro kind of glacially moving the ball around without much end product. Scarpa again. Rolling it ahead. And a sliding challenge by Schlegel. Keep it away from Nathaniel.
Well-timed challenge again. Read the play really well initially. That allowed him to get over quickly, and he hasn't put a foot wrong so far this game.
Nathaniel, another new signing. Signed a 4-year deal last weekend from Curitiba, the youth club of Junior Urso in Brazil. Back to Menino for Mineiro. Lianco. Palacios. Got some pace coming off that right wing. Menino strikes it from way out. That was hopeless as it goes near the concourse. Mineiro frustrated, I think, that they can't create any space here.
You're happy if you're Galese and Mineiro are resigned to taking shots from 30-odd yards. You feel pretty confident that those won't be fine in the back of the net. But testament to Orlando City and how they're defending and communicating and making it very, very difficult for Mineiro to penetrate.
Santos. Enrique and Kyle Smith. There's that midfield pressure, but Orlando evaded. Enrique with his head up. Won back by Menino for Mineiro, and Santos makes it back from Palacios. It was Gustavo Caraballo. He's acquitted himself nicely, a 16-year-old, playing competitively for the first team for the first time. Played the majority of last season with the U17s. Imagine we'll see quite a bit of him at MLS Next Pro this season as he continues to grow. Santos gets a handshake from Cuca. They have crossed paths before in their time in Brazil. Cuca's managed just about everybody. He's managed 20 different Brazilian teams across his career, several of them multiple times, where they'll fire him and then bounce around the league, and then a couple of years later they'll bring him back. And that is not at all unusual. That is very much standard operating procedure in the Brasileirão. Oscar Breja, meanwhile, starts his 6th season for Orlando City. The longest Cuca has ever been with one team is about 2.5 years. And that was Atlético Mineiro in his first stint there when they won the Copa Libertadores in 2013. They won that tournament in July. He was fired in December. Now back for his 4th stint. They were thrilled to bring him back, rolled out the red carpet. Big expectations this year. Here comes Palacios, very pacey. The Colombian on the ball. Take on Rafa Santos. Palacios goes inside, has a go, and Galese with an easy save. Ramin Palacios showing some real speed on that right wing since coming on at halftime.
Yeah, you saw that when he took off. You saw the pace difference between Santos and Palacios. And Santos isn't exactly, he's not slow, he's no slouch himself, but he just kind of made a couple of extra yards.
Schlegel off target for Enrique. Menino. Hulk charging forward. Hulk looking to create a shot for himself. Santos stands up the ball and it'll go backwards. Tanael and Palacios, the new right side. Now it's Arana off the left. Menino. Palacios. There's nothing doing. Orlando City defensively have been magnificent through the first hour of this game. Here comes Rubens off the left. Working on Caraballo, an absolutely terrific job by the youngster. Gorgeous stuff by the Lions playing out of the back. Here's Galese. Slips it forward, Ojeda. That is just lovely.
Beautiful play.
Makes you a little nervous as you're watching it develop, but they had it covered, and the Lions win possession. How about that?
Yeah, that was Pep Guardiola Barcelona around about 2006, 2007, the way they played out the back there. That was really, really something.
Captain Schlegel just applauded the whole group. Santos looking for Enrique, gets up high, but not high enough. Back to Everson. Should we start to see some substitutes as we near the 60-minute mark? No action just yet. Tanael down the right. Well, dispossessed. Scott has got it for Orlando. He doesn't have anywhere really to go with it, though. Sells out to keep the ball, and the Lions end up with it. Now Brekalo looking for Freeman down the right. It's a gorgeous ball by the Slovenian. Freeman's on it. Freeman cuts it underneath. Enrique with space. Enrique fires high. Another good-looking counter for Orlando, but Enrique can't find the target.
A great ball over the top by Brekalo. Freeman does well to pick out Enrique made the right decision, playing almost behind or in front of the line of defense. Enrique was arriving late and just caught a little bit too much under the ball there, but it was a rifle of a shot.
And Orlando showing some pressure. Everson chooses to go long. Hulk did not take a great angle to that. Schlegel, though, just lobs it back to Everson. Missed opportunity there. Schlegel putting his hand up. Guilherme Arana. Looking for Rubens up the line. Brecalo's got it covered. Puts it out for a throw-in. Still looking for the opening goal here at the FC Series. We will have a penalty shootout if this game ends in a draw. There is a trophy on hand to be awarded at the end, as this is an official preseason event. Oh, slipped in ball, but Nathanael not quite ready for it from Scarpa. And Galese able to pick it off the grass. Now Yutaro Scott. Smith. Araujo. Run down from behind and draws the free kick. A very upset Gabriel Menino having words with the official. Big expectations for Menino, who found himself outside the starting lineup at Palmeiras for most of last year. Still just 24 years old, though. Inject some youth into what is a veteran Atlético Mineiro team. Is ready to win now. Copa Libertadores runners-up last year. Alan Franco. Lianco. Mineiro, I think, much more possession in this second half, Scott. They still haven't really done anything with it.
Yeah, they, again, Orlando City not making it easy for them, but there's no real depth to them. They want everything in front of them. No one's really hitting the space. We saw it a couple of times with Palacios when he found that room in front for him to run onto. But other than that, everything, they just want to possess and almost combine their way through the middle to try and get something on target.
Looks like Orlando's going to start dipping into the bench now as Dagerdan Thorhaldsen and Ivan Angulo, two nailed-on starters last season, are getting ready to make their way on, play a half hour here or thereabouts. Palacios floating it for Rubens, headed the other way by Freeman. Now Caraballo chops it back to Freeman. Smith. Caraballo loses out. One back by Franco. Now Hulk. Even Hulk having to get on the ball just in front of the center circle. That really found him in too many dangerous positions. Junior Alonso. Lianco. Nathanael. Orlando just totally content to drop into their set defense and let Mineiro come to them. Palacios coming inside to try and help out. Arana. Brecalo there to knock that one away. Enrique with the pressure, but Junior Alonso has it covered. another rifle in, and once again, Brecalo there to stab it away.
I think this is the point now where you kind of need a bit of fresh blood in. Teams are probably starting to feel it a little bit.
And Atlético Mineiro is also going to make a change here. They get one of their regulars, Daverson, ready to come in. Bit of a throw-in here off of Skada. Daverson will typically start with Hulk up top. Interesting to see where he fits in now that they play in a system with just the one center forward. Hulk can play wide, but typically is best used as a striker, maybe a second forward. Menino will come off for Daverson and give Mineiro a little bit more of an attacking dimension here as they try to pick the lock that Orlando City has placed in front of them. Well, the corner here from Gustavo Scarpa. And Thorhaldsen ready to come in at the next stoppage. Ball whipped in right to Galese. Confidently stands his ground. Galese picked off trying to get the counter going, and a shot trying to catch him off his line is way off from Rahamin Palacios. Caraballo making way for Thorhaldsen. And Angulo will go in for Skada. That would seem to imply that one of Dagger or Freeman is going to go to the right wing here. Looks like it's going to be Thorhaldsen that goes into the attack. Now, he played plenty of winger back in Iceland before coming to Orlando City, and even showed up there a little bit in 2023 before making the permanent switch to right back. He was originally a central midfielder when he signed for the club.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one to see, and I think it could work really well given the fact that they can interchange quite freely with each other. One stays, one goes, and then kind of save a lot of energy like that as well.
Thorhaldsen into the right wing position, vacated by Facu Torres. Now, there has already been one signing into that position, U22 initiative winger Nicolas Rodriguez from Fortaleza in Colombia. Rodriguez's signing announced last week. He is yet to arrive in the U.S., still working on getting all that paperwork straightened out, but he is a left-footed, inverted right winger, same profile as Facundo Torres. Oh, good combination there, Enrique. Thorhaldsen coming in off the right. Now it's Araujo. Looks like it's been a minute since Orlando's had a real sniff of the ball. See what they can do with it. Brecalo. Enrique. I think there's some tired legs on the other side, spending all that energy trying to break Orlando City down. And they're resetting. Now Hapa Santos will bring it forward. Angulo checking off the line, and he gives it away. Nathanael chased down from behind. It's a foul, and Angulo gets the game's first yellow card moments after subbing on.
What a great first introduction for Angulo in that moment there. Yeah, the ball just kind of skipped away from him. A little bit too relaxed on that first touch, and ended up having to make the foul to kind of stop that counter-attack, and deservedly received that yellow card.
Angulo started every game in the MLS regular season for Orlando last year. 5 goals, 12 assists in all competitions. Perhaps perhaps Oscar Pareja's most trusted lieutenant out there on the field. Fellow Colombian who is a big addition since coming on summer of 2022. Get on the ball here for Orlando. Brekalo. Dagerdan caught him a little bit high, and Atlético Mineiro back on the ball as Orlando getting another couple of changes ready. So Shakur Mohammed going to make his way on. Shaq coming off a double-digit goal season in MLS Next Pro. The #2 pick in the draft 2 years ago out of Duke. Does enough. Daverson goes down. Now a little adamant and excited exchange of words between Daverson and Rodrigo Schlegel. While Hulk goes down clutching his eye, despite Scott, there not really appearing to be any contact to the face of the veteran forward. Daverson not at all happy with what transpired there, but ultimately Orlando's going to end up with the ball. Subs coming for the Lions. We will see the professional, unofficial debut of first-round defensive midfielder Joran Gerbet out of Clemson, along with Mohammed. You see emotions run hot like that in a friendly all that often?
Not often, no. I mean, obviously the atmosphere adds to it a little bit with being in the stadium. If this was in a field behind closed doors, you probably wouldn't get that. But, you know, knowing a little bit from the Brazilian League or South American League, you know that there are some feisty characters there, and they're used to playing through probably what would be clear fouls over here in Europe. So they kind of adapt to it and put their bodies more on the line than I think a lot of the European clubs and North American clubs do. Of course, Orlando City's roster heavily South American in composure. Oh, nice play by Kyle Smith there to take it from Daverson. Now Alex Freeman. Freeman looking. Torhaldsen on the overlap. Dogger has to get back as Mineiro regains their shape. Torhaldsen. Freeman. Will knock it around. The Lions. Rare moment of possession for them in this second half. Ojeda. Angulo. Ivan Angulo, this is what he does well. Lays it off for Santos. The cutback turned away by Junior Alonso. That's played by Orlando there. Angulo driving in. Santos seemed initially a little bit hesitant and reactive to you know, if he would have been at full speed or pick that speed up, I think he would have got there a little bit earlier, just a split second. That would have allowed for him to pick his head up and perhaps pick someone out. But overall, that was a nice passage of play. Papa Santos and Martin Ojeda making way for Mohammed and Gerbet. Mohammed will go in at the number 10. Gerbet goes into central midfield. Kyle Smith will drop off to left back. We get our first look at Joran Gerbet, drafted 27th overall out of Clemson, where he was a first-team All-American and ACC Midfielder of the Year. 12 goals, 15 assists. Almost half of that production came last year, when he had 7 and 8 in 20 games for the Clemson Tigers. Played his first 2 years at Oregon State before transferring to South Carolina. Hulk on the move, broken up by Schlegel, finds Palacios. Now
Now Alan Franco. Looks like Hulk has gone off the right with Daverson in at center forward for Atlético Mineiro. Scarpa, cleaned up by Freeman. Headed down towards Hulk, but he first time couldn't get it, second time couldn't get it as Angulo gets a second chance and keeps possession this time, then sliding it across for Gerbet. Nicely done by Angulo, up the line to Shaq Mohammed. Mohammed loses the ball to Nathanael. Scarpa inside. Gerbet's going to get there for Orlando. Araujo driving forward. Cesar, he's thinking about it. Instead slides it ahead to Thorhaldsen. Here's the cutback, nobody home. Somebody miss a run there, Scott?
I mean, Enrique did the right thing in going to the first post, like you always want your number 9 to do, but there was just no one backing him up. So I think, yeah, there was just this attack midfielder. It was calling for someone to be around that penalty spot. Thorhaldsen did a good job in cutting it back. Oftentimes you do that blindly in the assumption that someone will be there, but this time, yeah, someone was missing clearly.
A couple more changes on the way for Atlético Mineiro, it looks like. 77 minutes, still looking for, at this point, what would probably be the winner, the way things are progressing. Orlando have a throw in here. The Lions too going to make a couple more changes. A couple of homegrowns getting ready to come into the game. Thomas Williams and Colin Gusky getting set to make their entry. Gusky, it'll be his unofficial first team debut for signing a homegrown contract this offseason. Otavio and Igor Gomez getting ready to come on for Mineiro. Scarpa. Bringing it around to Lianco. This is what we've seen most of this second half. Ponderous possession from Atlético Mineiro. Scarpa can get something going. That's blocked immediately by Thorhaldsen. Brecalo wins the aerial duel. It's right back out to the Argentine. Arana going to take on Freeman. Gets it inside, slides it straight to Cesar Araujo. Orlando looking for an outlet against the counter press. Freeman sends it forward towards Enrique. Ramiro, after nearly giving it away, and end up winning possession for Orlando City. Mohammed bowled over and a foul on Lianco. 2 changes for each team. Scarpa is off for Igor Gomes. Signed from Sao Paulo 8 years back. And Alan Franco replaced by Otavio in central midfield. Otavio, 30-year-old veteran. He's been with the club now for 4 years. Played a long time in France for Bordeaux, a club that sadly no longer exists. Meanwhile, Schlegel and Araujo making their way off for Williams and Gusky. Those are 2 like-for-like changes. Williams got a cup of coffee when Orlando had an injury crisis back in 2022. He was 17 then. He's 20 now. Took big strides last year at OCB. Certainly going to be in play as a reserve option at center back for Orlando, particularly left-footed options. A nice thing to have. Gusky, meanwhile, 17 years old, the 3rd Gusky brother to play for the Orlando City Academy, the first to make it to the first team. Gusky, another depth option at central midfield, a position that might get stress tested here with Wilder Cartagena coming off injured earlier. One last change for Mineiro. Two more, pardon, for the visitors. Guilherme Arana has gone off. See who else makes way as fourth official and the Mineiro bench are still figuring out all the specifics. It is Hulk whose day is done. I'd say Orlando City did a very good job containing one of the beasts of Brazilian soccer.
Yeah, I think they did, and I think overall defensively it's been a stellar performance by Orlando City, and it's not done yet. You know, 10 odd more minutes, and great test for our young central midfielder there, pairing. A lot of work also for Brecalo, who's now got the captain's armband, being the veteran of those two central pairings, the centre backs and the centre midfielders. There'll be a lot of talking, a lot of directing from his part.
20-year-old center back Romulo has come in, and academy player Caio Maia is on the game as well, replacing Hulk. Caio Maia, 19 years old. Play underneath Daverson. Here's Palacios. He's probably been the most dangerous player for Atlético Mineiro today, though that's not a particularly high bar. For Orlando now, it's Smith, Williams, Brecalo, Freeman in front of Galese, Gerbet and Gusky, the double pivot, Angulo, Mohamed, Torhaltsen at right winger, and then Enrique up top. Kyle Smith getting that one clear. Gerbet lines one up for Shaq Mohamed. Wanted a call on Romulo, but did not get it. Alonso going route one for Palacios. Daverson broken up again by Orlando, and Gusky goes right back to his keeper. Alex Freeman looking to get wide. He coughs it up in the penalty area. Atlético Mineiro might have something going here. Look towards Nathanael, over his head and out for a goal kick. It was a disappointing end to that move from the Brazilian side. I would imagine they'll come away from this game, I don't know if you can be frustrated by a preseason performance, but maybe a little underwhelmed by what they've put out there on the attacking side today.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, yes, it's a preseason game. I'm admittedly not sure how far along they are.
Farther than Orlando. Oh, player goes down in the box. It was Daverson. Referee not interested.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you look at this from the coach's perspective, you've got a lot of older players out there, and being further along. And yes, it's a pre-season. The main thing is that the players are getting their minutes and getting their fitness up, but you still want there to be this cohesion and attacking freedom, and that's
absolutely nothing in that.
Nothing, yeah.
Daverson, she might have been worthy of a yellow card there by the forward, who has not been particularly friendly since coming on. Center back changes for Atlético Mineiro during that stoppage. Bruno Fuchs and Igor Habello replacing Junior Alonso and Lianco, who probably were the two best players for Atlético Mineiro today. Atlético Mineiro with a 0-0 last week and tracking that way here today. Luca will want to see a little bit more going forward as they get closer to their season. Now they're not in the Copa Libertadores this year because of their league position. They only qualified for the Sudamericana. Their regular season won't actually start until April. They play that state league we were talking about earlier, the regional league, early in the year. There is no offseason in Brazilian football. That regional league has already started. They play a lot of the young guys in reserves in the early games because you're mostly playing basically men's league teams from around the state of Minas Gerais as they start. But then as it goes on, they play some of the bigger local rivals. The first teamers will get involved. Their last game of the Brasileirão season was in mid-December, so there really isn't any sort of break for these guys the way that you have in North American and European soccer. Shaq Mohammed for Orlando. Mohammed doing very well holding off his man. Shaq draws a foul. Nice move by the youngster.
They did really well there, showed great strength in the initial duel and managed to scurry away from that and had some nifty footwork to beat the next two oppositions that ended up bringing him down. So nice play.
Mohammed, the number 2 pick in the draft out of Duke. That pick was acquired for the rights to Juan from DC United. Zangulo breaking into the penalty area, but knocked away by Nathanael. Shaq's still just 21 years old. He was very young coming out of college. Had 11 goals last year for OCB. Angulo. And they're looking for a late winner here. We will have a penalty shootout if this ends in a draw. Jaron Gerbet. Gusky also sporting a new number this year. He was 56 last season, more in the number 25. More of a first-team number. Here's Thomas Williams. Brekalo way overheats that one for a Thorhaldsen. Can't imagine there'll be too much added time here. Freeman. Be a throw in for Orlando. Final minute of regular time. Enrique still coming after Everson. Here's Fuchs. Over the top for Nathanael, but Kyle Smith there to head it down. Now Brekalo just sky it. Dogger looking to come up with it, gets his head to it, then goes down. And the official will pull it back for the foul drawn by Thorhaldsen.
Yeah, he did. He went for it with his head. The ball was pretty high. Thorhaldsen went to head it and did catch a boot to the face there. Totally unintentional. Palacios, I don't think saw Hudson coming, just tried to kick it, and he caught one in his head, and it's still down to.
Trainers are going to come out and have a look at Dagerdan Thorhaldsen.
But good overall performance, and I think this is definitely a great baseline for the players. And obviously there's a lot of new faces, young players that are coming up, and I believe they're off on their pre-season travels after this game to Cabo, I believe.
Cancun, where they'll be headed for the next week. That is not fun in the sun, by the way. That is a boot camp that Oscar and strength and conditioning coach Fabien Bassan run in Cancun. They'll be down there doing 2-a-days, running on the sand. They're definitely not the sort of trip that you and I imagine when we go to Cancun. Did you have any of those preseason trips to Ibiza or anything like that when you were playing over in Europe?
They were kind of we were either in Spain to Marbella. A lot of the teams go to Marbella in Spain, or Turkey. A lot of teams also. In my latter years, we went to Belek. They've got some big hotels there, like these big golf hotels.
Oh, okay.
Great, not that I didn't play much golf, but
yeah,
it was a lot of work, and you often got a few of the Bundesliga teams that were down there, a few of the Eastern European teams, some of the big names were down there, so there's always enough games. That was always one of the main things for the club to look at, is where are other teams going, so that you can play these, get these much needed game reps in against high-level opposition.
We talk to a lot of players. They say, preseason is their least favorite time of year. Just the building up the fitness and the constant training, the grueling long days. Is that your experience as a player?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's on the one side, it's great to kind of be with the group of players, and depending on your roommate who you're with. It is enjoyable to that degree, but it's a lot of work, and it was a lot more work over there when I first joined here. Now I think times have changed over here, and as things get more and more professional, they are doing 2-a-day sometimes. I mean, in Europe we did sometimes 3-a-days. We did runs before breakfast, then training, and then in the afternoon. So no rest for the wicked. But,
yeah.
It's kind of what it took, and. But it's usually the first couple of weeks are the most difficult, and then you're already kind of gearing towards that kind of match sharpness, and that's where the fitness aspect becomes less and more about the explosiveness and the game time.
Orlando made a late change there. No reason to risk Dagerdan continuing, so he comes off. Jean Solis played over 2,500 minutes for OCB last year. Has come on. He'll go in at the 10. And a late yellow card here on Brekalo for Orlando.
Good to see Brekalo get a full 90 minutes. I think that's something that he needs. He needs those reps.
That was clearly a tactical yellow on the 19-year-old Caio Maia, who is struggling to get up. And Caio Maia getting some concern from his older teammates here. You hate to see this. What happened to him here? Ooh.
Don't think there was any contact at all. I think it was, when you look at that, I mean, that angle that was seen the first one, side on, it looks like Brekalo touched him, but then from the one behind, I think it was there was no contact whatsoever, which obviously doesn't spell good news when something like that happens and he's down clutching his knees.
Yeah, it's exactly the scene you do not want to see. 19-year-old ascending youngster, and Caio Maia just checked into this game a few minutes ago. A lot of concern on the Atlético Mineiro side. The experienced manager looking on. Caio Maia up to his feet here. Whole team concerned for their young teammate.
And there appears to be no stretcher anywhere in the vicinity, which lengthens proceedings.
He's going to be helped off here by the training staff of Atlético Mineiro. And this is probably going to be the final play before the shootout, as Brahim Palacios will set the ball down for a free kick, try to win it at the death for Atlético Mineiro. Been lively in the second half. He really has been the only player for Atlético Mineiro that has been goal dangerous at all since coming on at halftime. Try and find a friendly head here on the should be the final play of the game. Palacios sends it very deep. That was not his best moment. And that will send us to a penalty shootout. Well, before we get there, Scott, just an overall assessment, what you thought of Orlando City in their first official organized preseason match of the year.
I think it was solid. I think they showed signs of their quality in certain moments throughout the game. They were defensively really stable, something that Pareca has prioritized largely over the last few seasons, and they've done that really well. There seems to be a good understanding of movement of players, despite a lot of new faces in the second half. I think you see it was a preseason match. There were some tired legs going on into that second half, and not as dynamic as the game went on. But I think it's a great starting point to build on. The starting point. I know they're already a couple of weeks into training, but as far as game goes and minutes, looking forward for the next few weeks, I think this is a good point to be at now. And yes, it's some exciting players as well. I think that there's going to be a couple more coming in. I think the squad needs a little bit more depth, especially in that centre midfield position. As we see with Cartagena going off injured and Carl Smith being basically the backup centre midfielder, I think they definitely need someone in that area. But a good overall performance. I think they could be happy with that.
Saw some young players get some significant run. Alex Freeman going the whole 90. Taro Scotto was very lively. Probably came the closest of anybody on the pitch to actually scoring a goal in this game.
Yeah, I thought, Tagada showed his quality, and I thought Freeman had a really good game. I think he chose his moments well to go forward. Like I said, his movement was impressive. He gave the ball away once or twice, understandable at this stage, but overall I thought he did really well, and especially when you find him in those open spaces and he can kind of drive, it's dangerous things can happen. So this will be a nice test for these youngsters going into a penalty shootout. I know it's a pre-season, but when you're there, it doesn't matter. You're in a stadium, you're in this atmosphere, and you've got people around. So
on the call here with noted penalty coward Scott Sutter, who did you ever take one in a friendly? Where would you be right now? Is this where you would take a penalty kick?
Yes.
He had to think about it.
I did have to think about it, but yeah, based on the players that are on the field now, I would obviously have to take one. Like, I would have to be one of the first ones. If I was still on the field, I'd you know, obviously now I'd definitely be the oldest one.
If you're a youngster out there, you're quaking in your boots.
If you're a youngster, yeah, I'm not going to be the first one to step up. But to your question, I don't think I did. You know, and I took loads of penalties growing up in academies and stuff like that. I don't count that to being a penalty. You know, I never took one, I think, in a professional match, not even in I don't even think in a friendly game. I mean, there weren't many friendly tournaments where there were penalties.
Right, that's true.
And when there was one, we didn't always go to penalties. I think maybe twice, I think that we, in a friendly, we came to penalties and I didn't end up taking one.
Okay.
So.
Looks like Kyle Smith is going to be the first man up for Orlando here. Smith is if you're a real ball knower at Orlando City, you know that Kyle Smith is an exceptional penalty taker.
He can take them.
Hit one in the climactic Game 3 against Charlotte in the first round of the playoffs last year. Kyle Smith was a free agent this offseason, but there was never any real suspense about where he was going. He should be able to get to 200 appearances with Orlando City this year. He's about 20 away coming into the season. For a guy who was working on his CPA out of college, didn't think he'd ever get a chance to even play professional soccer at any level. To be with this club now, going into his 7th season, working on 200 games. Pretty special stuff for a guy that has become a huge fan favorite here in Orlando. Smith against the Brazilian legend Everson for Mineiro. And Kyle Smith with power right down the middle.
Well taken penalty. Like you said, he's a stalwart as a penalty taker. Unconventionally so, but made no mistake.
And you know he does the math. The largest percentage of successful penalties are high and right down the middle.
Yeah, if you got the cojones to do that, then that's
it's simple mathematics. Yeah. Of course the accountant would have that locked up. Here's Igor Gomez, who came on near the end of the game for Atlético Mineiro. He will be the first to try. Pedro Galese thrives in these spots. Peruvian #1. Gomez, that cannot be legal. He scores, but I mean, he came to a full stop.
I think didn't we have this scenario sometime last year where we weren't sure if what is legal now. I think I remember. I
guess he was still like technically moving his feet.
Yeah, I think I remember looking it up online when I got home and sending you and Scott Harris a print screen of, because I remember things have changed. You used to not be able to stutter, but now it's technically allowed. But I think there is.
I'd like to see a little reaction there. I'd like us to go back. I think you've got to give the goalkeepers a chance. Well, here's Ramiro Enrique for Orlando. I wonder if he'll end up getting some penalty opportunities this season. Based on that, he probably should. With Facu Torres gone, that role of primary penalty taker is now open for Orlando. Enrique throwing his hat in the ring. Some very good penalty takers on this roster. Ojeda and Luis Muriel, Nico Lodero. There is Palacios. Colombian, came out of Atlético Nacional. Signed last summer for Atlético Mineiro. Certainly looks the part based on the 45 minutes we saw from him. Left footer against Galese. He takes the little stutter step and sends Pedro the wrong way. 2-2. David Brecalo will step up next for Orlando. He almost went backwards.
Yeah, it must be the Atlético Mineiro school of penalty taking.
It's Joseph Martinez's signature move that we've seen in MLS. Galese saved a Joseph Martinez penalty last year when Orlando faced CF Montreal. Joseph now in a San Jose team that is extraordinarily interesting with Chicho Arango and several other notable intra-MLS transfers. Brecalo sneaks it past Everson. Took a bounce up on the goalkeeper who thought he had it. Just went right up over his glove. Rubens, who came on at halftime. Left back, left winger. Part of the youth academy, now 23 years old, regular member of the first team. Sends Galese the wrong way. 3-3. There's some good penalties in this shootout here.
It was a well taken one.
Rubens, who played in 36 games for Gallo last year, puts that one in. Now Ivan Angulo for Orlando. Angulo likely to play a huge role on the 2025 Lions. The ever-present stalwart for Oscar Pareja led the league in sprints by over 100 last season. And Angulo is saved. Here the Atlético Mineiro fans, they don't care that this is a friendly. They get to see their team here in the States. Got a huge, wonderful Brazilian community here in Orlando, and one of my favorite things about this game, and when we have Brazilian clubs in January every year, is we get to see that community come out and spend some time with us at Inter&Co Stadium, and they love their team. Here's Daverson to make it 4-3. Skies the penalty! Not a day to remember for Daverson. This wasn't even close, Scott.
Yeah, just completely misread it, mistimed it. Something caught his eye maybe before, took his eye off the ball, but
we're back on even footing, and look who's stepping up to take penalty number 5. None other than El Pulpo himself, Pedro Galese, for Orlando City. I cannot recall a time when Galese would have taken a penalty for the Lions, and I'm pretty sure I've called every penalty shootout he's been involved in here. How about this? The Orlando City goalkeeper stepping up and scoring beautifully. Looked like he'd been doing it his whole life. Gorgeous penalty from Galese, and it looks like Everson is now going to try and return the favor.
Nice, I like that. Nice little low five as they walk past each other.
Oh, that is a sweet penalty shot from Pedro Galese. How about that? And now, can Galese save his opposite number, Everson, and win it for the Lions? Everson, slow walk up, scores. That was right down Broadway. They see so many, they probably have a great idea of where to put it. Alex Freeman, who went the whole 90 for the Lions, is going to step up now to take number 6.
Now we're on to the younger generation.
Yes. Yeah, it was all vets for Orlando the first round, but we're pretty much out of those amongst the players who are on the field.
I assume Alex Freeman being the elder of those remaining.
That is wild to think about, considering he signed for the club when he was 16 years old. Still just 20. Certainly looks like he's ready to break in and become a regular part of the first team rotation. He'll try Everson here. Gorgeous. Now see, that's a good stutter.
That was definitely within the bounds of legality. No doubt. That was a really well taken penalty and sent Everton the wrong way.
And you can ripple the side netting a little bit on your penalty kick. You know you've hit it right. It'll be Romulo for Atlético Mineiro. Center back can play a little defensive midfield. That's where he came in. And this one, another one came out of the academy. Started at age 14. Any miss here from Mineiro would end it. Romulo against Galese. Slows up and just about evades Galese's grasp. And we will go to round 7 as the rookie, Joran Gerbet, in his Orlando City debut, will step up. Gerbet, native of France, Oregon State, then Clemson, now Orlando City.
Shorter run up than most.
Yeah, he's right over the ball, isn't he? Winds up and rolls it into the corner. Style points for Joran Gerbet.
Yeah, he almost touched the ball with his forehead before then calmly slotting the ball in the net.
That is some wind-up. That's beautiful.
Wasn't even looking at the ball when he struck it. Eyes were totally fixed on the goalkeeper.
That's fantastic. Will it prove to be the winner for Orlando? As Fuchs steps up. Bruno Fuchs, 25 years old. Was just signed from CSKA Moscow a couple of years ago. Was on loan, now a permanent transfer. He'll take on Galese. And Galese saves, Orlando City wins it. Joran Gerbet's unconventional PK turns out to be the winner. And the Lions will take home the Inter & Co trophy from the FC Series, winning the penalty kick 6-5. Even in a game like this, there is nothing like a penalty shootout to get the blood pumping, and we got to see some great penalties from Orlando City. Galese scores one, and Joran Gerbet with the eventual winner for the Lions.
Yeah, a lot to be taken, I think, from this performance pre-season. Doesn't really matter, you know. The main thing is that they put in a good performance, a good understanding that just adds to it game by game as they progress through this pre-season. Getting these small things right. I think it was a really good, solid performance on both ends of possession.
There's the save for Galese. Not the best penalty from Bruno Fuchs, but a little shrug to the wall from Pedro. Did you know I got this? Going into year 6 with Orlando City. If you put together the Orlando Mount Rushmore, he'd be a prime candidate. We'll have a trophy presentation and handshakes and all that jazz after a really fun afternoon. Just good to be back, isn't it? Good to see the boys out there again. And hey, the countdown is on. 4 weeks away. Orlando City's home opener against the Philadelphia Union. 2 weeks from now, we'll have our season ticket member exclusive preseason match against CF Montreal. 2 weeks after that, Philadelphia Union come to town as we start the 2025 season. I'm sure still plenty of off-season news to come over the next month as well. Scott, any final thoughts from today's action?
No, a lot of good things, you know, and then end up with a win. I mean, even from a psychological perspective, it's a good start to the season, and yeah, hope they continue put in the work now in Mexico. I'm sure they will fine-tune the team, so a lot to look forward to for this season.
We're looking forward to it as well. For Scott Sutter and all of us here at Orlando City, my name is Evan Weston. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed getting to watch the boys have their first run out of the preseason. Orlando City wins it in penalties over Atlético Mineiro. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you very soon.
FC Series. Coin toss is brought to you by